head of service. As University of Calabar settles in for academic work, State Ministry of Health donates equipment to fight COVID-19. Plus, Nigerians speak on violation of presidential order on COVID-19 protocols, call for strict adherence to combat the spread of the pandemic. This and more in just a moment. Good evening, it's nice to have you on NT News at 7. I am Paul Abel. Now the news in details. Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima has been appointed as the new spokesperson for the Nigerian Army. A statement from the Directorate of Army Public Relations indicates that before his appointment, Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima was the Deputy Director Reserve, Defense Headquarters. Brigadier General Yerima replaces the former Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sagir Musa, who has been redeployed. And now let's come back to Cross River State. The Cross River State government is demonstrating gender friendliness with the appointment of women into key positions of public offices. The latest is the appointment and swearing in of Mrs. Geraldine Akpet-Ekanem as the new substantive head of service for the state. Correspondent reports.
After the last Cross River State head of service, Dr. Chris Ita bowed out of service upon retirement, Geraldine Akpet-Ekanem, a legal practitioner, was appointed acting head of service on 1st January 2021. Having showed credibility during this period, Governor Ben Ayade is charging the new substantive head of service to fish out ghost workers, revamp the civil service, review the non-retirement of interest, illegal recruitment into the payroll, and salary challenges.
I solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Your choice was not emotional. It was deliberated, it was experiential, it was focused on your capacity to deliver on the charge I have given you today. If you can fix your office, if you can fix the civil service, we can fix our salary challenges.
The new head of service pledges to take the charge to a lawful conclusion.
I will conduct personnel audits, and I will continue from time to time to conduct on-the-spot visits to MDAs to ensure that things are done properly. I also intend to go into the hinterland, to the outstations, to see what is being done there and to fish out ghost workers on the payroll and erring and recalcitrant civil servants.
Geraldine Akpet-Ekanem was born 57 years ago and joined the Cross River State Civil Service in 1987 via the Ministry of Justice.
And now we move over to COVID-19 related stories. To enhance the fight against COVID-19 at the University of Calabar, the Cross River State Ministry of Health is donating personal protective equipment, PPEs, and other items to the institutions as it settles in for academic activities. The donation was made when the Vice Chancellor of the University, Florence Obi, visited the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Betta Edu. Justina Etim reports.
The University of Calabar comprises a student population of 250,000 who come from all walks of life, including COVID-19 high-risk countries and states of the Federation, to acquire knowledge. As the University of Calabar resumes for a new academic session, the University Authority is worried that it may not be able to single-handedly curb the spread of the pandemic in the school, and this is the reason for this visit of the Vice-Chancellor to the Cross River State Commissioner for Health.
We are importantly carrying out a very robust sensitization and awareness exercise among our students and staff on the use of face masks, hand washing, and use of sanitizers.
Cross River State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Betta Edu, is impressed with proactive steps taken so far by the authority to prevent the spread of the disease in the school community and assures the provision of rapid diagnostic test kits as well as the deployment of quick response team to facilitate the fight against COVID-19 in the school.
We're happy that University of Calabar has been very, very proactive. They were able to set up this committee, and the state government is working hand in hand with them to see that we do not have any outbreak of COVID-19 in the university, and we do not have the school shut down as a result of people having so many cases of COVID-19 within that environment.
Personal protective equipment and other items were donated to the university, while the commissioner, in company of the vice-chancellor and her entourage, inspected facilities on ground to curtail spread of pandemic in the citadel of learning. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
Still on COVID-19 related issues, the federal government has taken steps to strengthen the COVID-19 response system across the country. The recent is the law signed by President Muhammadu Buhari prescribing a 6-month jail term for those flouting COVID-19 safety protocols put in place by health authorities to curb the spread of the virus. In this report, Oduak Etim reports that the move by the president has not only generated reactions from Nigerians in Cross River State, but is checking activities of Nigerians as regards the spread of the pandemic.
Recently released cases of the COVID-19 updates by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control have become alarming as the second wave of the virus continues. The federal government since 2020 has taken numerous measures to cushion the impact of the pandemic and also curb the spread of the virus. However, some of the policy responses may have not been taken seriously by some Nigerians, and this probably made President Muhammadu Buhari to sign a law prescribing a 6-month jail term for those violating COVID-19 protocols. The law provides for the maintenance of social distancing, compulsory wearing of face mask, and strict adherence to other protocols. Either way, Nigerians in Calabar react differently on the law and the penalty involved.
Any society that is without law or rule or regulation, people are bound to be careless because there are no measures to check them, And so, health is wealth and is very important. And so the duty of the president and the government is to protect lives and property. And so whatever rule or regulation that will ensure that lives are protected, I think is in order.
Let me use myself an example. As you can see, I put on my face mask properly. So as a Nigerian, as a good citizen, you must observe the necessary protocol, all the guidelines that are necessary for us to survive as a country.
I don't see it as a witch hunt. I see it as it's something we have to do, even though we are not even told, even without the punishment, it's something we are supposed to do, because if we get infected, it's our problem, not his. So he has actually done very well. Muhammadu Buhari have done pretty well.
For the Cross River State government, the COVID-19 monitoring team is at work to ensure residents of the state adhere strictly to the safety protocols.
Task team made up of CAN that goes around on Sundays to ensure that churches are enforcing the use of face masks in public places. We have a task team that is in charge of the Islamic religious group, and they go around to enforce this too. So really, as much as possible, we have different sub-teams that are going around doing that work.
Health experts and well-meaning individuals are advising Nigerians to comply with the safety measures, as the law is not to witch hunt citizens, but it is established as a way of getting the people to stay safe and live healthy lives. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 643 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Their figures are Oyo 88, Lagos 86, Rivers 55, Edo 54, Akwa Ibom 53, Adamawa 52, Plateau 45, Kaduna 41, FCT Abuja 34, Kwara 27, Benue 20, Kano 19, Delta 18, Nasarawa 16, Niger 15, Bayelsa 11, Borno 5, Bauchi and Sokoto states have 2 each, while there are 140,391 confirmed cases. 114,635 have been discharged, with 1,673 deaths. At this juncture, we'll pause for a commercial timeout. More stories will be brought to you immediately after this break. Please stay with us.
Una no vex. Una never hear of coronavirus. Prevention is better pass cure. See this thing. Hand sanitizer. Now one way to take prevent coronavirus with that. See, another one we say we go wash our hands clean with soap and with water. Another one we say when we want sneeze, we want cough. Oh yeah, may we dab together. Correct people. If you see say you get symptom of fever or difficulty in breathing, I beg, make you day your day, make you sit down. Nigeria, our culture they promote cleanliness. Let the celebration party.
This message is from NTA and NCAC.
Members of the public with any complaint concerning any of our programs should forward their complaints to the Nigerian Television Authority, Channel 9 Murtala Mohammed Highway, Calabar. Phone numbers 0906 198 3183, 0906 883 6550. Email address ntacalabar@nca.gov.ng or to the National Broadcasting Commission NBC, plus 32 Parliamentary Housing Estate, Second Gate behind Zanzibar Hotel, Calabar. Telephone number 0818 445 9924. Email address nbccalabar@yahoo.com. Signed, Management of the National Broadcasting Commission. It's good to have you back on the news. In case you're just joining us, you're watching NTA News, reaching you live from our studios here in Calabar. And now to the rest of the news. The Presidential Task Force PTF on COVID-19 has released another list of 100 passports that have been suspended for 6 months due to non-compliance with the mandatory Day 7 post-arrival COVID-19 test by their owners. This is the second batch of 100 passports to be placed on travel restrictions by the Presidential Task Force to serve as a deterrent to others. The Presidential Task Force had earlier noted that defaulting passengers who evade the mandatory in-country COVID-19 tests are more than 20,000 and that it will continue to suspend their travel documents in batches if they fail to take the test. The Presidential Task Force insists that only a negative PCR test will be acceptable for inbound travelers, which must be conducted within 96 hours before boarding. And now to other health-related issue. A 3-month national free anti-rabies vaccination exercise has been flagged off in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Correspondent Utibe Achibong reports that the program, which is to prevent the spread of rabies infection, is in partnership with the World Bank, federal government, and the Akwa Ibom State government.
According to Dr. Gloria Detz, 3 cases of rabies were recorded in the state last year, 2020. Therefore, the anti-rabies vaccination should not be taken for granted. She noted that vaccination of animals such as dogs, cats, among others, are free. Hence the need for all pet owners to visit the nearest veterinary clinic stationed in almost all the local government's headquarters of the state for the vaccine. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Mrs. Mary Ukwete, appreciated the State Governor, Udomi Mano, for approving the program, expressing optimism that the vision behind the initiative will be given due attention.
Though this exercise is for pet animals, may I use this medium to advocate that the veterinarians who handle dogs and cats on daily basis should themselves be immunized with the human anti-rabies.
Ministry of Agriculture have things being done here. Come out and see by yourself.
Other stakeholders at the event who outlined dangers of rabies emphasized that pet owners should make good use of the opportunity and take precautionary measures. The event highlighted vaccination of dogs and presentation of certificates by the Commissioner of Agriculture in Uyo, Utube Achibong, NTA News.
Justin Akon-Ekpeme has been finally sworn in by Governor Ben Ayade as the Chief Judge of Cross River State after refusal of the State House of Assembly to confirm her in 2 previous attempts in the last 14 months. Correspondent reports.
Shortly after the retirement of Justice Michael Edem, Justice Akon-Ekpeme, who hails from Akwa Ibom State, but married to a native of Cross River State, was appointed and sworn in as the acting Chief Judge of Cross River State in December 2019. Meeting required criteria, she subsequently got the approval and recommendation of the National Judicial Council of Nigeria (NJC) within the stipulated period of her acting capacity. Unfortunately, the Cross River State House of Assembly refused to confirm her on 2 different occasions, citing security reasons. Within the period, 2 acting chief judges, Justices Maurice Eneji and Eyo Efiomita, acted in the same office, but with the stance of the NJC insisting on hierarchy. The State Assembly has no other option than to confirm her as the substantive chief judge of the state. That turnaround confirmation is what has led to this swearing ceremony.
As God has touched my heart, so has God touched every person in the position of taking a decision in your favor. That has manifested in your swearing in today. To God be the glory.
She's inheriting a judiciary with issues. And I'm praying that the Lord will give her the strength. She will have the wisdom to navigate the stormy waters and ensure that she delivers the goods as Chief Judge of Cross River State.
Full of emotions, the new Chief Judge expresses gratitude to God and promises to give her best to protect the rule of law.
We have put the past behind us and we are moving forward. If God has been gracious enough to make this day possible and touch His Excellency, like he said, it would be foolhardy to dwell on the past.
With the swearing in of our substantive Chief Judge, all pending issues in the Cross River State Judiciary and lost grounds as a result of the absence of a Chief Judge are expected to be given adequate attention moving forward.
And now to the foreign scene. The United Nations has urged member states to expand the coalition for carbon neutrality and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this as part of the preparations towards the latest annual United Nations Climate Conference, COP26.
Climate change is one of the challenges confronting the world, which the United Nations is working hard to secure greater commitments to averting climate catastrophe. The UN chief said the world is far from achieving agreed goals to reduce global warming in line with the Paris Agreement on climate change, as he advocated phasing out of coal by 2040, while financing for the sector and for other fossil fuels be redirected towards clean energy solutions.
The global coalition for net zero emissions needs to grow to cover more than 90% of the emissions. And this is a central objective for the United Nations this year.
Guterres said member states must provide significantly more ambitious, nationally determined contributions, as outlined in the agreement, adding that the major economies and members of the G20 must lead the way.
Developing countries, particularly the small island developing states and the least developed countries, must be given the support they need to enhance their climate ambition.
The annual conference, which was postponed due to COVID-19 pandemic, will be held in Glasgow, Scotland on November 1. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And now to the beautiful and exciting world of sports. The 20th National Sports Festival, NSF, originally meant to take place in March through to April 2020 in Benin City, Edo State, has again been moved from February 14 through February 21st, 2021 to April. Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Diary made the disclosure at the media briefing by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. The February 14th to February 24th, 2021 for the multi-sports competition was approved by the Extraordinary National Council on Sports, NCS. He said the reason for the new date was based on the signs of the violent nature of the second wave of COVID-19. And just before we go, a quick look at some of the stories that made the headlines. Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has sworn in Mrs. Geraldine Akpete-Kanem as the new substantive head of service in the state and charged her to revamp the civil service, fix illegal recruitment into the state payroll, and other challenges. Nigerians in Cross River State have called on the federal government to sanction people who violate the law signed by President Muhammadu Buhari on COVID-19 protocols in order to curb the spread of the pandemic. You also heard in the news that the fight against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic is coming from all fronts, as the University of Calabar is partnering the Cross River State Ministry of Health through a donation of personal protective equipment, PPEs, and other items to the institution. That does it for the news tonight. On behalf of the entire crew, I am Paul Abel. Have a wonderful night rest.